Our new assistant priest, Father Peter from Nigeria, has been with us for 2 months now, and all he has had the opportunity to do on his day off is to tramp around Bradford, usually in the rain, with a mask on. So today, it being sunny, we went for a walk on the moors around Haworth. He loved it, as did I. We walked up to Top Withens and then descended to what is popularly known as Bronte Bridge. We chatted about our families during the course of the walk, and then in the long comfortable silences, a distinct memory came back to me of something that had happened on that very stretch of moorland almost 40 years ago. Walking with my dad and my younger brother, I went on ahead a bit, deliberately seeking to be apart, because I was feeling profoundly melancholy. I was experiencing the adolescent blues for the first time. I recall looking at the treeless, heather-clad moorland landscape interspersed with the odd steep-sided clough, and wondering to myself something like, how is it that the sight of nature, which ordinarily brings me peace, is not assuaging my sense of desolation at all? And I was conscious that my being so taciturn and standoffish would be irksome and hurtful to my dad, who had put himself out to give his lads a pleasant experience, which he hoped would help bond us as a family. And something inside me was glad that I had thwarted his hopes, because in this way I was expressing my independence. Well, when all this came back to me today, I suddenly realised that I am now more or less the same age as my dad was then. I imagined him gazing after his son, tramping disconsolately 100 yards ahead. It's a bit late to apologise now. And nor actually is there anything to apologise for. That gradual renegotiation of the relationship between parents and children is part of the life of the family. That painful distancing of child from parent is inevitable as the child goes inward, discovering himself or herself with a new intensity during adolescence. And it leads to something great. Young people are able to bestow themselves upon their parents with a new freedom, gained precisely through their embracing of their autonomy. As a priest, I'm privileged to see really good parent, adult son and adult daughter relationships all around me in the parish. They are a reminder to me of how the value of the institution of the family perdures long beyond childhood. With these thoughts in my mind, I became especially conscious of the young people whom we met on the walk. 3, clad in lightweight walker's gear, rapidly gained on us. They were talking about an app which recorded how fast they were walking and how far they had walked on that day. I turned round and invited them to go on ahead. You're stressing me out with all your figures, I said with a smile. They laughed and pressed on. 2 young men and a young woman, expressing with every stride both their vitality and their enjoyment of each other's company. Then coming towards us was a young man and a young woman wearing more colourful clothing. We told each other where we had been and where we were going, they to Top Withens, which we had just left. And the young man ventured rather proudly, "We're reading Wuthering Heights at the moment." His female companion nodded in agreement. As they set off up the hill, they looked really united. How cool is that, I thought, to have a shared passion for the same work of literature. I hope these 5 young people who were so gracious to us on the heights today fare well, and that the knocks of early adulthood do not cause them too much pain. I enjoyed interacting with them, and it was evident that they were pleased that I was taking an interest in their activities. I noticed that with relief. My engagement with them has focused my mind on how we might develop our provision for young people in the parish. In 3 days' time, we will be celebrating the Solemnity of Christ the King, which in our country is Youth Sunday. In recent years, a good number of parishioners have done great work with young people here in the parish. Before lockdown, a group of mums and dads ran a youth group. We went ice skating, laser zapping, roller skating, tenpin bowling, trampolining, and charging around what was basically an inflatable assault course. I don't know if the children enjoyed it, but I've had a ball. And at this moment, 3 things are looking especially auspicious. We've got to know well a big group of 11-year-olds who will soon be confirmed. A group of 6th formers meets with me each week for Zoom catechesis prior to their receiving First Holy Communion and confirmation. And get this, the group is growing. And some young people have been the leaders in taking parish newsletters and other literature to housebound parishioners. Good vibes abound, and we need to translate them into, well, I'd say simply this: more opportunities for our children and young people to engage in the multifarious life of the Church. In all of this, as I get older, I find that I am becoming increasingly comfortable with young people. That's a bit counterintuitive, but it's true. As I say that, I'm reminded of an event at Valley Parade, Bradford City's ground. The stadium was empty, and for some reason I was walking along the goal line in front of the home terraces with, once again, my dad and my younger brother. 3 male youths stood on the terraces about 50 yards away, draped in bantam scarves. My dad called out to them some matey pleasantry, and they, a little bit surprised to have been addressed, responded in like manner. I could tell that my dad was relieved that the incident had passed off well. I can read you like a book, I thought, full of love for him and determined not to show it.